So I got 3 books here, okay? On the right here is a book which has about 135 pages. It's quite thin. This one, though, in the middle, it is a dictionary and it has about 2,000 pages. It's not thin at all, it is thick. Well, and this last one is something between the two of them. So I could say, when I compare these 3 books with the adjective thick, that this book in the middle is the thickest book of the 3 of them. The thickest. And I've just used superlative. And superlative is the topic of today's video. So, what is superlative and when do we use it? We use superlative when we want to talk about the highest degree of something. And how do we make it? Well, similarly to comparative, we also need to use an adjective, but before this adjective, we need to put the every time. Plus, we need to add this suffix est. Alternatively, we can use my, your, her, his, our, their instead of the, plus adjective est. Here we have 2 examples. Winter is the coldest season. The coldest, so the adjective is cold, plus this suffix est, okay? Winter is the coldest season. Or, I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. Do you recognize the lyrics, Lady Gaga? I hope so. Well, your instead of the, okay? Then the adjective big plus est. So, your biggest fan. Do not put the your, okay? There can be only one of them. So, in this case is this possessive your. Here, let's talk about these 6 categories of superlative adjectives. If you watched my previous video on comparatives, there was something very similar. There also were 6 categories of comparative adjectives, and this is totally parallel. So let's see. First category, normal, regular adjectives. For example, long, cold, short, strong, stupid, etc. So with these normal, regular adjectives, we need to put the, then the adjective, and the suffix est. Very simple. For instance, it's the stupidest idea I've heard. It's the stupidest, all right? So you put the adjective plus est. Okay. Second category, adjectives ending in e. For example, nice or late, strange, large. Okay, final e is important. In this case, we put the. After that, the adjective ending in e. And then the only 2 letters that you need to add are s and t without additional e because the e is already there. Okay, so just st. For example, she's the nicest person I know. The nicest person. The third category is adjectives ending in y. For example, dirty, happy, crazy, angry, busy, and so on and so on. In this category of adjectives, we need to remember one thing. First, put the, as usual, but then you need to drop this y at the end of the adjective, and then you have to add iest. So basically, this y changes into I and the classic est. For instance, Thursdays are the busiest days for me. The busiest. So busy, the basic form of the adjective is like that. This y changes into I plus est. So what we did, we added iest. The fourth category, short adjectives ending in consonant, vowel, consonant, such as hot, big, fat. I'm going to explain again as I explained in the comparative video. For instance, let's take this fat, okay? So from the end, we are going consonant in Slovak, this, vowel in Slovak, this, and consonant in Slovak, this. So if you've got a short adjective like that, and there is a consonant, vowel, consonant, then you have to double the last letter. So it will be the fattest, all right? Doubled T plus the suffix est. For instance, our company got the fattest profit. The fattest, so fat plus one more T and est, the fattest profit. The fifth category, long adjectives. Well, here we need to add not only the, but also most, the most, or the opposite of most, which is the least, plus the long adjective. There is no suffix est. You know, because these are long adjectives: dangerous, attractive, beautiful, expensive. It's not possible to say dangerousest, okay? It would be too long. It sounds wrong. So no est. Instead, you need to put this extra word most or least. That is the most or the least. For instance, who was the most attractive contestant? The most attractive, long adjective. And the subcategory of this one is adjectives ending in ed. Okay, so we've got adjectives ending in ed, such as bored, stressed, or confused. Yeah, ed, ed, ed. Again, it's not possible to say boredest. Okay, there is no est suffix, as well as in this fifth one. So here again, you need to use the most or the least plus adjective ending in ed. For example, he was the least worried parent. He was the least worried parent. Okay. And here we are with the sixth, last category with irregular adjectives. And there are, similarly again to the comparatives, 3 irregular adjectives. The first of them is good. So the superlative of good is the best. Maybe you also remember the comparative form, which is better. So we've got good, better, the best. She's my best friend in the world. Okay, so here again, I used not the best friend, but I chose to use my best friend. But the would be okay as well. You can choose which one you want to use. And second one is bad. So if you remember, the comparative of bad is worse. And the superlative form will be the worst. That was the worst film I've ever seen. The third irregular adjective, far. The comparative of far is farther or further, and the superlative is the farthest or the furthest. Okay, this spelling difference here, but they mean the same. That's the farthest point of our journey. The farthest point. Okay, great. Now, let's talk about superlative and present perfect. With superlatives, we often use present perfect simple. And here is how it's usually used. Like that. That's the I've ever. So in the first blank, you should use this superlative. For example, that's the biggest castle I've ever seen. Okay, so that's the biggest castle. First, I use this superlatives, biggest castle, right? I have ever seen. Seen is the past participle of the verb see, right? So we are basically using this superlative with present perfect simple. I've is basically I have ever seen, yeah? So present perfect simple, meaning this is the biggest castle I've seen in my life. Yes, I've ever seen. It means in my life. Okay, another example. That's the best beer I've ever drunk. Okay, that's the best beer I've ever drunk. Again, I used superlative, the best. That's the superlative of good, right? And I have ever drunk, present perfect simple, have drunk. Egypt is the hottest country he has ever visited. The hottest, this is the superlative of the adjective hot, okay? And present perfect simple, he has visited, okay? He has ever visited in his life. Don't forget to change this have to has because it's a third person. He has ever visited. Yes, past participle. Okay, swell. Now let's practice. So say the superlative. Now first let's use this connection long river. And you've got the Amazon, the Nile, and the Mississippi. Compare their lengths in kilometers and tell me the superlative. Go. Okay, let's check your answer. So, of course, the Nile is the longest river. Okay, very good. The longest. Okay, it's a normal, regular adjective, so this is it. Another example, again, say the superlative. This time, let's use the connection delicious food. And let's compare pizza, sushi, and steak. And let's not forget that delicious is quite a long adjective, yeah? Delicious. It's not possible to say the deliciousest, but you have to use this extra word, the most delicious, right? So the question is, which one is the most delicious food for you personally? Tell me. Okay, and now I'll tell you. So pizza is the most delicious food for me. Okay, so the most, and then this long adjective, delicious. Very good. Finally, let's try to use this superlative with present perfect. So try to make a sentence out of these hints. So look, tall man I ever see. Okay, try to make the sentence. Let's check it. Luke is the tallest man I've ever seen. Okay, so superlative, the tallest man. In present perfect, I have ever seen, past participle. Very good. And then another example, that funny joke she ever hear. Try to make a sentence. Let's check. That is the funniest joke she's ever heard. So funny, the funniest. Yeah, we changed Y into I. And present perfect, she's ever heard. This is not she is, but she has, right? And heard is the past participle of the verb hear. So she's ever heard. Very good. Barbara, strange person I ever meet. So the sentence will be, Barbara is the strangest person I've ever met. The strangest is the superlative of strange. And I've ever met, I have ever met, present perfect. Very nice. And finally, that bad storm we ever have. What's the sentence? Let's see. That's the worst storm we've ever had. So bad is this irregular adjective for superlatives. So we have to say the worst. And present perfect again, we have ever had past participle of have. Okay, great job. And cut. We are done for today. This is all regarding the superlatives, but if you wish to watch more, just visit our Youth on my YouTube channel and you can go crazy. Thanks for watching. See you next time.